Hi, so on this video I wanted to show you the basics of sewing. So to do this I just used a permanent marker to draw a straight line and a curved one to show you the basics 101 of sewing with jewelry, sewing metal. Here I also have another example that I will not show there, but to do another shape, and I will use glue to stick it on this brass sheet that is about 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters and 0.7 millimeters thick. So the obviously brass or copper is a great material, not expensive material to practice. You can also use your compass if you want to make straight lines to practice, because those are the most basics but most potent exercises that you can do to learn how to sew if you're starting off. So here, this is the way I just did it. I just used the compass, pressed quite strongly on the piece of metal till I get a straight line, straight and deep enough so that I can see it without using a marker if you don't want to use a marker. The good thing with the compass and other kind of steel pieces to be able to mark the metal, you will be able to have a better view of what you're doing, and it can be used as some sort of pre-cut, because you have kind of marked the metal deep enough so that it'll be easier to cut afterwards. The downside to that is that it can be a bit trickier, and it will take more time to get rid of those marks if those are not to be totally sewn away. So you have to be careful, as with everything with jewelry. The less work we have, the less extra work we have, the more time we gain, and everybody's happy. So you have to know what's the best option for you, whether it's the permanent marker or using a kind of file. I don't remember the exact term in English, but a stainless, a steel, actually, a hardened steel kind of point to make your designs, or use the compass as I just did. It all depends on you, and don't make the marks too deep, because then you'll have to file them away, and it's another type of thing. That, like, it's another extra sum of work. The other thing that will help if you're beginning is, as you can see, I just grabbed one of my file. It's a medium grit file, and when you're beginning, it's hard at times to start off the project. So using the file, using one movement going from upwards to downwards, you will just make a mark and file the metal enough so that you'll be able to enter the sew blade with more ease. It'll be easier that way. So this is a little tip, but when you're starting, it's a pretty useful tip to be able to enter the sew blade. So the sew blade has to make a really high-pitched tone sound, just like if you were tuning a guitar, and it has to be tight but not too tight. The thing that you will use too is the cut lub, because it's somehow some sort of kind of grease that will help to make your blades last longer. Just, you don't have to put tons on it, but at the beginning, don't even bother with this, because you'll be breaking so many blades by the minute that it won't be worth it. But then when you'll get more practice, the cut lub will make your blades last longer, and therefore make you make some saving on the blades that are quite pricey if you take quality blades, which I recommend. So here, because I already kind of started to pre-mark my file with my file, it will be easier to insert the sew blade. The way you hold the sew frame, it's really important when you use it not to have your wrist bent like that. Your wrist should be really in the prolonging of your arm. So if you have a bench that is not the right size for you, you will know it straight away, because your wrists will be bent when you use it on the bench. So no, we don't want that. We want something straight, and we want to have a hold and tight grab of the sew frame, but not too tight. Then it depends on what your preferences are, but you have to hold it rather tight with your dominant hand. So it's important to know that the wrist is always aligned, and that your body is aligned, especially when doing this, because you'll be doing a lot of sewing, and the bench pin has to be rightly on your chest, around your chest area, and you have to be really comfortable and really well seated to do this job, because it will require to have a lot of strength in your arm and in your fingers, and at the same time to be extremely kind of really comfortable and relaxed when you're doing this. It's really important, but you'll see it when you practice, because at the beginning we don't think of that, and then we realize that it's important to really remain kind of flexible, but at the same time, I was going to say kite, nothing to do, quite flexible, and at the same time be efficient. So the best way to go is to really try to go and think as your dominant hand holding the sew frame like a machine. The non-dominant hand is just there like a clamp to just use keep the metal tight in your hands, while the dominant hand is there to be used like a machine, going up and down in a very rhythmic, like slow rhythm movement. There's no need to try to rush. You can try to bend it a little bit forward if you want to have more traction and go faster, but I recommend to just be as perpendicular as you can with your sew frame to the bench, because when you're beginning you will mostly do breakages of blades. So try also to use the entire length of the sew blade. What I see is that people don't only use the middle part, but it's a shame not to use the entire size of the sew blade. And I wanted to finish on that note. I was using a sew blade that is 0/3, which is not too thick and yet not too small. And if you want to check out the size chart, everything will be put on my website. And if you want to go further, just check out the other videos. Voila, bye!